And you also claim that you're the devil.
Was the devil. God now. Well, nearly.
When it comes to the idea of Tom Ellis stepping back into the role of Lucifer Morningstar, he's always been very straightforward about where he stands. He absolutely loved the character, and it's pretty obvious fans loved him too, but Ellis has said more than once that he wouldn't just return for the sake of it. For him, there has to be a real reason, something big and meaningful enough to justify reopening that chapter. A proper movie with a strong story could do it, but just dragging the devil back onto the screen without purpose, that's not his style. And honestly, that makes sense because Lucifer's journey on TV already had a pretty wild and unusual path. The show, based on Neil Gaiman's DC Comics creation, was first brought to life on Fox, but after 3 seasons, it got cancelled, even though the series had built up a solid fan base. That could have been the end, but instead fans kicked up a massive storm online. The noise was impossible to ignore, and Netflix swooped in to save the show. From there, it went on for 3 more seasons, reaching a total of 6 and wrapped up in 2021. For many people, that ending felt like a full-circle conclusion. Still, because the finale left just enough threads hanging, the idea of a follow-up movie has been floating around ever since. Ellis addressed this directly on Inside a View with Michael Rosenbaum. He admitted that, in his mind, the TV side of Lucifer is done and dusted. They told the stories they wanted to tell, but he also admitted a movie could tempt him back, under the right circumstances. His conditions are pretty clear. It can't just be a money grab or some empty attempt to milk nostalgia. The script would need to be strong, the direction purposeful, and the whole project would have to respect what they'd already built. Otherwise, it just wouldn't feel right to him. Part of why he sees things this way comes from his background in the UK. Over there, the entertainment industry tends to value ending shows on a high note rather than stretching them out just because they're making money. Ellis used the sitcom Miranda as an example. That show only had 20 episodes, yet it's still considered iconic today. Miranda Hart, the creator, chose to stop when she felt the story was told, even though the BBC would have loved to keep it going. Ellis admires that mindset, choosing quality over quantity, because it keeps the legacy intact. That's something he clearly wants for Lucifer too. Of course, his portrayal of the devil was so popular that fans aren't ready to let him go. Even though Netflix has since turned its attention to another Neil Gaiman adaptation, The Sandman, which features Gwendolyn Christie as a completely different take on Lucifer, the comparisons keep coming. Christie's version, gender-swapped and far more mythic, was praised, but it still left people wondering if there's space on Netflix for 2 Lucifers. Right now, the answer seems to be no. But when it comes to streaming, never say never is always in the air. Meanwhile, Ellis has moved on to new work, like his upcoming role in the FBI franchise spin-off CIA. He's playing a fast-talking CIA officer opposite a very by-the-book FBI agent, and the show's set to launch in the 2025-26 season. So it's not like he's sitting around waiting for Netflix to call him back. But even with all that, the possibility of a Lucifer movie is still lingering, mostly because fans refuse to let it fade away. That persistence is nothing new. Back in May 2018, when Fox canceled Lucifer after Season 3, the fan response was explosive. The show had just ended on a massive cliffhanger, Lucifer revealing his devil face to Chloe, and then boom, it was gone. Fans were furious. The ratings weren't even that bad, so the decision confused people. Fox simply wanted to shift focus to other programming, but viewers weren't having it. Almost instantly, hashtags like Save Lucifer and Pick Up Lucifer went viral. Fans flooded social media, wrote letters and signed petitions. Even Tom Ellis himself joined in, posting heartfelt messages and rallying the community in interviews. That unified outcry worked, because within weeks, Netflix announced it was picking up the show. By June 2018, the revival was official, and Netflix even admitted that the fan campaign was a huge factor in their decision. What followed wasn't just a revival, though, it was a reinvention. Instead of the long 22-episode seasons Fox used, Netflix gave the show tighter, more focused seasons, like Season 4 with just 10 episodes. That format shift allowed the writers to take bigger risks, dig deeper into character arcs, and explore more ambitious themes. The tone became more mature, the visuals darker and more polished, and the storytelling more emotionally layered. Lucifer wasn't just a quirky procedural anymore, it had evolved into something bolder, exploring guilt, redemption, and love in ways that resonated with fans. Relationships also got more attention. Characters like Maze, Amenadiel, and Linda became more central to the themes, instead of being stuck on the sidelines. Without the restrictions of network TV, the show leaned into heavier emotional beats, bigger questions about morality, and more dramatic action. The move to Netflix didn't just keep Lucifer alive, it elevated it. By the time Season 6 rolled around, fans got something rare, a show that was able to end on its own terms, with a planned conclusion that honored both its characters and the viewers who fought for it. But now comes the tricky part. Should Lucifer really come back again? After 6 seasons of devilish charm, heartfelt growth, and celestial chaos, the story reached what felt like an emotional endpoint. The finale wrapped up the arcs of Lucifer and Chloe in a bittersweet but satisfying way. While there were some loose threads, like Amenadiel's future as God or Rory's paradox-filled backstory, the series tied things up well enough that reopening them could feel risky. Lucifer began as a procedural about a devil-turned LAPD consultant, but by the end, it had transformed into a drama about love, redemption, and free will. Season 6, while divisive, gave a definitive end to Lucifer's journey, particularly his romance with Chloe. Bringing the series back could add more action or dive deeper into certain characters, but it also risks unraveling the emotional payoff the finale delivered. A big reason this is so complicated is the introduction of Rory in the final season. As Lucifer and Chloe's time-traveling daughter, Rory suddenly became the centerpiece of the story, and some fans weren't happy with that. Her presence and the time loop surrounding her existence felt rushed, even forced, and it pulled attention away from characters fans had followed for years. For a final season, many thought it didn't feel like the grand send-off they wanted. That's where a potential movie could redeem things. It could flesh out Rory's story, expand on Amenadiel's reign as God, or dive deeper into Maze and Eve's relationship. With more time, those ideas could actually breathe instead of being crammed into a short season. And that's that for today's video, folks. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.